All right, here we go, everybody. Day one of the show. Yesterday's kind of a pre-day, industry day at the range. And I know you're like, what are you doing standing in a parking garage? This is how SHOT Show actually starts, is that we had to fight Vegas traffic to get in here, and it's raining as all get out there right now. And honestly, in my wife's, the Swagger Wagon minivan, our windshield wipers are utter trash because I live in the desert and we don't use them. And fought traffic to get in here. Surprisingly easy to get into the garage, though. And so now we're going to take the long walk down and try not to catch COVID. Today's video is brought to us by Barrel Block. Barrel Block is an excellent dry fire training aid that we've used for years and recommend. It provides an easy-to-see indicator that your firearm is empty and safe for dry practice. It comes in all service calibers and can be installed and removed in seconds without disassembling your gun. It's an inexpensive, easy way to give more margin for safety, so go pick one up today. A small line. But I did like how easy it was to get into the garage, so. Up to the media room for the traditional cup of coffee. Because SHOT Show is better when you're highly caffeinated. I know it's Vegas, and so some people say, well, you know, it's better when you're either drunk as all get out or like coked out of your mind, but I don't do that, so caffeine will have to do.
Can't imagine you.
I mean, trust me, we don't want me any more amped up than I am. Morning. I need coffee. I have the best coffee. Huge. It's time for coffee. Once we get coffee, then we can go and do the stuff. There we go.
Like, I wonder what's upstairs from here even.
It could be the NSSF lounge. That is a lot heavier than I remember the old one. Ooh. The weird part, though, is you got to be careful thinking about triggers and resets and stuff on the show guns because they're all tagged out, and so they've removed firing pins and stuff, so it may not be exactly the same. That's got to be 9 pounds. That feels like 9 pounds to me.
Oh, it's heavy, but it's got the same action.
Yeah, it's got that same backwards.
Rolls over.
But dude, that's got to be 9 pounds. Maybe I'm wrong, but man, try that. That feels super heavy to me.
Oh, that's. Hold on, that's not the same trigger I just pulled.
So,
I wonder.
Don't forget, at SHOT Show, at all these trade shows, this tag means the gun is non-functional, okay? So this is a show gun. If you are worried about not pointing guns at people at SHOT Show, you just leave, go home. That's the truth. How about you? How many days are you here?
Oh, we're here the whole week.
The whole week?
Yeah, we're leaving Saturday. So.
Hi, Rod. John, Korea.
John, Korea, active self-protection. So we've been kind of acquaintances, friends for
a long time.
Now.
I was going to say, I'm sorry to jump in, but one of the things I like to do is actually have my engineers come by and learn requirements development from people who are subject matter experts. Things to consider in the gun when concealed. What's important on a draw? What's important in presentation?
Sure.
In those where
I can't tell you.
Like that's what I want them for the next version when we do like the subcompactor. I'm going to do an enhanced carry version of this gun. There's a lot I'm going to do with it.
So I want to put it on camera today. Oh my, everybody, it's the hotness of SHOT Show 2024. Daniel Defense announced a reincarnation of the old Hudson H9, now the Daniel Defense H9, their first pistol. I'm here with Mike.
Yep.
Mike, you are not just an employee of Daniel Defense, you're a shooter.
Yep, I'm a shooter. I'm the program manager.
So I will tell you, this feels like the H9 of old, right? So if you've been a fan of Active Self-Protection Extra for a long time, you know I bought the very first H9 in Arizona in the wild. We shot it a little bit and we broke it multiple times. Sent it back. Of course, Cy and Lauren went out of business. Blah blah. And Daniel Defense bought the design.
Yeah, the intellectual property.
The intellectual
Some
property.
tooling. Yep.
And some tooling.
We'd end up not using it.
Okay.
We had to do everything from scratch.
So I will tell you, I asked Mike off camera because we broke ours. It broke and it broke and it broke. And of course, it's still sitting in Neil's safe. And it's a relic, and I don't want to shoot the tar out of it because it's going to break.
Yeah.
But, so I asked Mike off camera, what changed internally in this gun? And your answer was?
So everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, so I will say, in terms of the primary fire control components, we did keep the patent there.
Okay.
So it's still a sear, a disconnector, a sear block.
Okay.
Looks similar, but what changed is the tolerancing, the materials, the coating selection. Everything was for the aim on the inside of the gun, reliability, and reliability again.
And that was the knock, right? Is that it's got to be a reliable gun.
Yes.
Obviously, if this is going to be oriented towards concealed carry, towards personal protection, I got to trust when I pull that gun out, it's going to go bang, right? The cool part of the Hudson H9, the cool part of this design, you notice this is longer, right? So the recoil spring assembly is sunk down here, and so it's lower. Now, of course, if you've watched my video on recoil impulse and what it does, and by the way, again, if I haven't said that to you, tagged out gun, it's SHOT Show, people are pointing guns all over the place, the tagged out ones aren't real, okay? This is a training tool.
Yep.
The thing that it does is because this is lower, it's a lower axis here, so it's going to muzzle flip less. This gun does rise differently in the hand.
It does.
It just does.
Yep.
And it's beefy too. It's a metal frame gun.
29.6 ounces as it sits with an empty mag. So it's like, let's say in terms of like a Glock 19, for instance, it's about 23 ounces, so it's only a little heavier.
But boy, it makes it shoot better.
For that tiny weight between the low bore axis and that tiny weight, what you get is infinitely more shootability.
Right.
So as you were mentioning earlier, we look at it recoil in terms of two components. You've got your torsional, your muzzle rise, and you got your translational, where you feel them come back into you. So what we're minimizing is that torsional component of the recoil that lets you get back on the gun quicker. And so the gun you'll feel when you shoot it, it just settles into your hand, which you probably felt the same thing with the original gun.
It really shoots different. And you don't expect it until you actually experience it. And you go, my God, the muzzle just doesn't move on this gun. I love the feel of this gun in the hand. It really feels nice. 15 round capacity. Okay, so we're Glock 19 size.
Same as the original gun, 15 round. But in terms of overall size per firepower, we've actually improved it because it is a smaller magazine.
So shorter on the backside here.
It's a micro, in terms of size, it's actually, if you have a mag pouch that fits like a 365 or a Hellcat Pro or a Hellcat, it fits.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, you'll notice here, trigger, if you remember from the old one, it hinges on the bottom instead of on the top. So it's backwards for that. You get, again, it's firm. You get a little bit of movement, not hardly any creep, and a very crisp break. Okay. What are you guys trying to set as far as trigger weight out the door?
We're targeting around 5 pounds.
Around 5. Okay. These and it's hard to say on these because they're show guns and they have to take parts out and stuff. This feels heavier than that, but you got to understand that's a show gun, and so we're targeting 5 pounds.
Yeah, targeting 5 pounds, and the thing is, it is a straight pull trigger, so there's also a couple of aspects of that. There's the weight, but there's also the crispness and the communication of the trigger.
Yeah.
So sometimes, depending on what a trigger weighs, it feels like it'd be less because it's just talkative to you, and it's fast.
Yeah, and lightweight isn't as important as repeatability and, again, an understanding of how's it going to operate for me predictably. That's really where the most important thing is on defensive shooting. Optics ready.
Yes.
Has to be. In 2024, if you put a gun out that's not optics ready, you're a moron.
You better have I'm going to say you better have a damn good reason.
Yeah, I mean,
to have a gun it's got to be very specialized, not be optics ready.
Yeah, especially because it's ready, you can leave the plate on it and run your irons if you want to, if you're Amish. So when are these guys going to hit shelves?
They're already hitting shelves. They're shipping Monday.
Okay.
We launched and they're going out the door this Monday.
All right.
This past Monday.
And what are we expecting of these on retail?
$12.99.
$12.99. Not a cheap gun, but it's a high quality pistol. dang it, I'm just gonna have to go spend a bunch of money because now I gotta shoot the tar out of one of these.
We learned as far as the evolution of this entire project and process, we learned a lot as a company. I mean, I was telling the team, when we're gonna come in with a gun, or Daniel Defense, people are gonna expect something good.
It's gotta be right.
It's gotta be right.
I mean, Daniel Defense makes excellent rifles, so if you threw a pistol out there that was meh,
Yeah, and
that
so when we talk, Glock's already been at this for 40 years. SIG's already been at this for even though how many years they've been doing things. And
it's a live show, friends.
We're doing it live. That's insane. But yeah, no, these manufacturers, we've had to hit the ground, not just running, but like just hard charging to get caught up to the state of the art, and then bring something a little more than the state of the art.
I love, okay, enhanced reliability. Of course, time will tell, right? We gotta shoot it. I'm not gonna just take his word for it. Put a bunch of rounds
Speak
through
for
it.
itself.
Yeah, and you guys know me, I like to shoot a lot, so we'll see if we can pick one of these up and run a bunch of rounds through it. But super excited for this. I loved this design, that low recoil spring assembly height changes the way that the gun recoils. Again, not because of the bore axis, it's because this is where the force, you know this is the designer, the force comes into the frame at the locking block. And so that locking block being low changes where the gun impulses the hand and changes that torsional energy and the torque equations. And when you change the torque equations, the gun acts differently in your hand.
Yep.
Nerds! So we're gonna get some time on this, Mike. Thanks so much for explaining it to us, man.
I really appreciate your time. Thank
stuff,
you so
dude.
much.
You know, funny part, I've been to Sao Paulo, beautiful city.
Yeah.
Beautiful city full of beautiful, I mean, you want to stay out of the favelas, right?
Yes.
But that's like,
Some of this is going to seem familiar. So yeah, you're going to have your sear.
yeah.
So there's your striker block lever, your disconnector, and your sear block. That's kind of similar. All of this has been optimized, all of it. So there's your frame insert, your slide stop, and there's that one piece slide stop. And this
And
is,
it's ambi, that's such a cool deal. As a lefty, I approve.
this has all been ruggedized. As far as work going into making this thing live in the packaging. The other thing you probably noticed is the slide lock. It's
Yeah.
no longer that rotating feature. So this is actually something we learned in the handgun as well. So to improve lockup consistency, this is pressing on the barrel.
Okay.
So we actually contoured the pads for the slide lock so it's more ergonomic, so you can get more of a pinch and pull. So we can get higher rate springs in the slide lock, so we get higher rate springs that press up a little harder in the barrel, so we get more consistent lockup.
Got it.
It's the little things like that I said we like, you wouldn't think about it.
Right.
Hey everybody, what's going on? SHOT Show 2024 again with my friend Joe Hauser from MagTech. And I mean, gosh man, we've been friends for 5-6 years now?
Yeah, quite
It's
a
been a long while. Go all the way back on Active Self-Protection Extra. We had a good time in Sao Paulo. We gotta do that again.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was super fun, right?
time.
Got some new stuff here. MagTech just announced a steel ammo, but hang with me because it's a little different. So Joe, tell us about what they're doing.
Yeah, so it took us a couple years in development of this round, and it's currently 9mm.
Okay.
It's the only chambering that we're offering.
I mean,
it in.
that's 90% of what people are shooting anyways.
Exactly. And it's a steel case.
Okay.
So compared to your traditional brass, it's a steel case.
But that don't look like a steel case,
That's
right?
because it is has a zinc coating on it.
When I first saw it, I thought nickel.
Right.
I thought it was a
right.
nickel plated,
'Cause
but
that's
it's
what
zinc.
You're used to when you see that color on,
Yeah.
on a cartridge, you're thinking, oh, it's nickel plated. So this is zinc. It's a zinc coating, and we don't use what would be a typical lacquer or a coating of any kind on our steel.
So the problem with steel, right, is you get that lacquer on it so that it doesn't corrode, and that gums your gun up.
Right.
Right?
So this stuff shoots incredibly clean, incredibly smooth, and obviously some of that is your own shooter's perception.
Sure.
But everybody that we've had shoot it has been super impressed.
Now, of course, if you're paying attention to this, you might see there's like a little hole here, and a little hole here has to be. This is SHOT Show. If you have live ammo on the floor, you in trouble, fam.
Yeah.
So this is, a safe round. But same bullet, that we're loading in our brass?
Same bullet that you're used to, same powder,
Powder,
primer.
yep.
You know, so you're getting the same quality ammunition.
Yeah.
It's just a little less expensive.
Yeah, so 20 bucks a case cheaper.
Right.
That's cool. Now you see it here, so that's the gray box as opposed to kind of the normal blue box stuff here, right? So the blue box stuff you see on ASP all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
we go through, I shoot 20,000 rounds a year of it myself, and we go through another 40,000 rounds at the conference.
When you see it on the shelf, you'll just notice it'll
Yeah,
say
steel
steel
case.
case on it. It'll be a little cheaper.
But the thing I want you to notice is that that's not what I expect to see in a steel case ammo. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh man, steel case is hard on your extractors. I believe if your gun won't run steel case, it's a piece of crap. I think it's kind of a non-issue, honestly. I mean, I don't care if you're running an HK, a Glock, a SIG, you know, I don't care. It's gonna run. If it doesn't run steel, it's a problem in the gun probably.
Yeah.
But especially this stuff that's zinc plated. I'm real interested to run this, so we're gonna get a couple cases of it and blow through it. But what you've seen so far is super reliable.
Absolutely no difference in running this between brass.
So that being the case now, okay, so the one thing I know some guys are gonna say, watch, I'll put him on the spot, is the brass stuff you can reload. And I know it's steel, so I don't think...
It's boxer primed.
So boxer primed,
So
which means...
I'll say that. That's
Yeah,
all about
it's
as far
boxer
as
primed.
reloading it.
So at least at some ostensible level, you might be able to reload it. Now, some people are like, hey, can you the shaping and all that
Cannot
stuff?
confirm nor deny
Yeah, won't.
reload it.
So, of course, got to be correct on that stuff because it may not be as pliable as brass, or it may only reload once. What you worry about, of course, is in the lip here. It gets brittle and it cracks and stuff like that. And you don't want to do that stuff.
Well, we'll make more.
Make more. Just buy the stuff that you got, right? I'm interested in this, man. I think this is really cool. I think finding ways for people to shoot cheaper. I mean, of course, we all lament the days when you could get a case of 9mm for 150 bucks. Those are pre-Rona dollars, and we don't have those dollars anymore.
The raw materials, the costs go up.
Yeah. That's the way life is, and I pay it the same price you guys pay. So I get it, but this is cool, man. And on the shelves now.
Yeah.
So go grab it, guys. I think it's cool. Joe, always great talking with you, friend.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yo.
What are we doing? We've just eaten lunch. What are we doing now?
So we just got done with lunch, little nummies in our tummies. Now it's time to head down to, we're gonna go over to Firearms Legal Protection, talk to them a little bit, wander through the show floor. We've already seen a couple of great products, so some of that is just wandering through, seeing who we're gonna bless today. Hi, what's up, man? How are you?
Small on me, man.
Trying. And weight is always a concern when you're flying general aviation. So I joke, every 6 pounds you lose, you put another gallon of gas in the airplane. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Here at SHOT Show again, I got to run into my friend Spencer Johnson, who is the director of sales for Firearms Legal Protection. We've been together with Firearms Legal Protection for like 6 years now.
Yeah, long time.
And when we started, I think you were just working part-time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, still in college, yep.
Now he's running, that's right, you were still in college,
Yeah.
huh? Man, I'm feeling old. But today, with Spencer, I want to talk about the red flag law protections that FLP offers and why I think that's an important part of their coverage. So I know, man, look, I think sometimes people look at all this and there are different companies that offer services. Some are insurance companies, some are not, blah, 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 blah. And there's been a lot of hand-wringing about this stuff recently.
Yeah.
And ASP and Firearms Legal Protection have been together, like I say, if memory serves me correctly, I think since 2018.
Yeah.
So 6 years now.
Yep.
And one of the things that was, not recently added, but added as a benefit is protection against red flag protective orders.
Yep, extreme risk protection order.
Extreme
risk protection order. Yep.
Red flag laws, which, of course, I think you agree with me are terrible laws and should be abolished.
Yep, unconstitutional.
Right.
1000%, yep.
But tell me what FLP's coverage is with regard to that.
Yeah, it's a civil matter in most states, so we're gonna provide you with that attorney to be able to beat whatever case that you need to get. We just want to protect your constitutional rights, and don't believe me when I say this, but read the contract whatever company you're with, right? I'm with Firearms Legal Protection. I'm a little biased. I will always say come with us, but at least get somebody. But make sure you read the contracts, because to the best of my knowledge, we're the only company that has it written in our contract that we're gonna actually cover you. It's not optional with us. So we just want to provide those attorneys to be able to go after whoever to make sure we protect your rights.
I swear to the baby Jesus. All right, so we're looking at, this is the P07 CZ. Some people love CZs, and I think they're perfectly good guns. So this P07 is, you have a decocker on it. That's great. Double action trigger on this guy. I mean, I'd call it 9.5, 10 pounds. Relatively linear. So it doesn't have a big stacky wall. I like that just fine. I think, obviously you got to learn to row the boat is what you got to learn to do with this. You got to learn to row the boat. If you can row the boat there, fine. The single action trigger. So you got some slack and take up. Now, I don't love the creep. I got to be honest with you. So you see, take up. There's the set point. Again, remember we're at show tagged out guns, and then you see that creep, that extra, a little more, and then it breaks.
Yeah.
It looks predictable. It feels predictable, but it's more of a roll, like extra creepy. I would want some work. I'd want some work done on that before I would really like it very much, honestly.
Look at fancy red.
Yeah, and you can get it. I mean, the P10, this one's all fancy. It's got like Spartan helmets and other things that I don't want on guns. But good striker trigger on the P10. Nice reset. That's what's up. That's got to be. That's not USA. Configurator or what? Something or other. I don't know. You can get this one in the US. I don't love that mag release. So just looking at CZs, some people love CZs, and I don't have any problems with them. They make some really nice guns. I think the triggers need a little bit of work for them to be what I want. But I mean, if you want to have not a Glock and you feel like you'd rather have, you don't want German plastic, you want commie plastic, CZ is a great one to try. The Shadow 2s, some of them, I think, there's optics ready right there.
Okay.
And that is a real nice trigger.
Yeah.
That double action is about.
It's not that rough, really.
No, it's pretty good. So again, so the single action on this take up.
Yeah.
That doesn't creep as far.
Nothing like that one, huh?
Doesn't creep as far. And I mean, the Shadow 2 is pretty. Now that double action trigger is nice. That double action trigger is delightful. And then, you get to that. And it's when you're running it at some speed, but I mean, when you're in like Kerry Dudenhofer precision mode,
That'd be a lot of fun.
it has this much creep to it. Much lower,
Right into your hand.
much lower angle. So
Yeah.
And so it changes the torque equation, right? It's a little different, won't fit in old high power designs, but you're talking about
Yeah.
a 17 round gun. It's basically the original 2011.
Okay.
In a modern sense where people make a double stack 9mm 1911. I have no problem with, okay? So I'm not saying I have any problems, but if you want John Moses Browning's design of a 9mm double stack 1911, this is the high power, the Grand Puissance, as it were, and it is a cool gun. Now, of course, this guy, it's manual safety, single action only. I don't like either one of those things in a carry gun myself, but this new iteration, good grips, feels good in the hand, nice and beefy. I mean, so as far as I know, it's only available in Amish models, but I mean, that's okay. You're old school anyways because you're carrying a John Moses Browning design, so you're really like Korean War cosplaying anyways. And lean in. Just go 100%, okay? Make sure you don't get any of your booster shots. Nope. Yeah, don't, whatever you do, don't put photos on Instagram. And watch out for polio. But you'll have a hell of a cool gun. Had a good day. Oh, we're live, rock and roll. Man, good first day. Really good first day. We got some great content made, got to see some good friends, got to make some new ones, got to pray with a new friend, which is really important to me. To always come to the show every day looking and saying, who do you want me to bless, Lord? And got to sit and pray with somebody who really needed it, recovering mentally and emotionally from a gunfight. Now heading back to the Airbnb. It was a heck of a day.